Welcome to our July angel forecast. I am going to be doing an angel reading for the month of July to see what's coming up. I'm also going to be exploring the astrological events that we'll be transitioning through in July to see what we can expect. And I'll share with you the processes that I'll personally be using to align with the energy of July and to keep my energy balanced and aligned. But first of all, I want to just touch back on June. If you remember when we were looking at the forecast for June, the theme coming up was the theme of opening up. So I was tuning into the energy of July, and July's theme is unfolding. So we have opening up in June and unfolding in July. And what was coming to me, if you can imagine like a bud of a flower, and in June, the bud was just beginning to open. And now we're coming into July, the unfolding is happening. So the petals are slowly beginning to unfold. The flower is beginning to blossom. So this equates progression. We are progressing. We are opening up in June. We're unfolding in July. And it's all going along the path that is assigned to us. And we are bringing in the ascension energy. We are opening up to higher levels of being. Now, if you think about a flower, when it is unfolding, when it's blossoming, it's not a painful process. That flower blossoms. Sometimes it'll seem to stall, or it'll seem that it is taking a long time to blossom, but nonetheless, when the flower opens up, it'll open up in its own time, and it'll do it through ease and grace. Now, what you will notice is on the days where the sun is shining, the flower will open up a little bit more. So it's the same with us. When we can shine a light on ourselves, when we can be in that energy, that positive energy of light and love, then we will unfold a little bit more. If we are caught in the darkness, in the energy of heaviness, of fear, then naturally we're not going to want to unfold as much. So it may take a little bit longer. We're going to want to go back in on ourselves. So the key is to be in the energy of lightness, be in the energy of allowing the process, not struggling through it, not resisting it, but going with the flow and allowing it. I think we tend to overthink things. We tend to get caught up in, why is this happening to me? Why am I unfolding in this way? I want to stay in my little cocoon. I want to stay as a bud. I don't want to unfold. And that's natural, because we are changing, we're unfolding, and it can feel different. It can feel like we're dying in a way, and in a sense a part of us is dying and we're becoming something new, but it's nothing to be afraid of. So please don't resist it, allow it. And the way to allow it, I'll explain in a minute what I'll be doing in order to relax into the unfolding. So it's the same, the flower unfurls. It's the same with the caterpillar turning into a butterfly. And to that caterpillar, I've said this before, it can seem like it's dying, but it's transforming into something new, something more beautiful, something that has wings to take flight. And that's what we're doing. We're transforming into something that has wings to take flight if we allow it. So allow the unfolding to transform you as it wishes. Allow the unfolding to do to you what it wants to do, to allow you to grow your wings and to transform into all of your beauty. So what I wanted to share with you is the angel of July who you can work with is Virtual, and Virtual is also the ruler of Leo. Now, Leo energy, if you think about Leo the lion, it's all about the lion's courage. So having the courage to allow the unfolding, having the courage to open up, having the courage to be vulnerable, having the courage to lean into however you're opening up. And as you're opening, it may reveal pain that was once held inside. It may reveal things that you thought you had dealt with. And just keep unfolding, keep opening up anyway. Just allow the unfolding to occur and have that lion's courage that you are committing to the unfolding, committing to being in the process of ascending to the highest level of being. So as we transition through this, of course, there are astrological events that we can take into account. So firstly, we are nearing the end of this eclipse season. You will be glad to know, but we're not at the finish line just yet. We will have a full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn on the 4th of July. So this is the third eclipse between June and July, and it's the culmination of the 3 eclipses. So if you remember last month I was talking about eclipses, how they bring up our shadow side. It's that pause where we get to reflect, we get to go within, we get to examine the parts of us that maybe we had hidden from, maybe we had denied, maybe we had been running from, and we get to pause and look at them. But we also get to release them. We also get to acknowledge, okay, I acknowledge that was there. I acknowledge it no longer serves me, and I choose to release it. And I honor the lessons that have come up from this part of me, from the experiences, from the people, the circumstances. I acknowledge that I grew from it and that I learned something. So integrating the learning, integrating the knowledge, but releasing the pain, the hurt, the wounds, and allowing all that to fall away. So as we transition through the month, we have Chiron going into retrograde. We also have another 5 planets in retrograde. We have Mercury, we've Jupiter, we've Saturn, we've Neptune, we've Pluto. So with all these planets in retrograde, it can seem as if we're going backwards ourselves in our lives. And it can be that opportunity to go within, to have that introspection. So that'll still be present. So the unfolding, even though we are unfolding and we're becoming and we're growing into ourselves, there's also that opportunity for introspection and taking with us the points, the parts of us that we are happy with, the positive aspects, but letting go of the parts that no longer serve us. So that introspection will allow us to identify, okay, who is it I'm becoming? Who is it that I want to be? Who is it that is emerging, and allowing that part of you to emerge. But we will be experiencing Mercury going direct again on the 12th of July. So that'll bring some relief, particularly in relation to communications. And I always think, everything starts with ourselves. So communicating with yourself. So that introspection, maybe things become clearer. Maybe you have greater insight. Maybe you begin to communicate with your loved ones in a clearer way, stating your needs, stating, something that you maybe have been holding back on. So Mercury going direct will open up the way for greater communication. Then on the 20th of July, we have the new moon in Cancer. So we're still in this beautiful Cancer energy with the new moon, which is all about intuition. It's all about your sensitivities. It's all about that nurturing, loving, mothering energy. So the new moon is all about rebirth, setting intentions, and the next phase to come. So the Cancer energy will really complement that new moon, and it'll give us a chance to really step into the new phase, the next level of being in that state of caring for ourselves, being in that state of nurturing ourselves, being in that state of being more loving to ourselves, which we all need. We all need to be more loving towards ourselves, to accept ourselves, to accept our shadow, and even though when I say to release the shadow, to release the parts that no longer serve, it's not like you're getting rid of them. It's not that you're shunning them. It's not that you're saying, I don't want that. You're honoring what they gave to you, and you're making the decision to let go. You're making the decision to move forward. So it's all about being in that state of nurturing, loving yourself, being compassionate towards yourself. And then as we finish towards the end of the month, the sun will transition into Leo. And again, as I said, Leo is all about that lion's courage. But the shadow side of Leo is maybe areas of your life where you're not being courageous. Maybe there's fear coming up for you. Maybe there's parts of you that are fearful and holding back. So that'll be coming into play as well. So a lot going on. And I did draw some angel cards, and I have a beautiful new deck of cards which I'm really excited to share with you. It is the Heart and Soul Angel cards from Angela McGurr, and I was feeling into the cards. Aren't these cards just so beautiful? They have beautiful sacred geometry on the back and the most beautiful images on the front. So I drew 3 cards for July, and as always, I love the messages coming up. The first card is Sir Raphael, ruler of the Seraphim. So if you can see this card, the Seraphim are helping us, aiding us in the ascension process. And if you can see all the little points of light on this card, this reminds me of all of us. We're all these little points of light, and we all have this light within us. But there's this beautiful light over here, which is like the huge big star, or this huge big emanating bright light. And it's like we're all returning to this one light, this source light, and we're all flowing towards it. And Sir Raphael and the Seraphim are helping us to do that. So they're aiding us in the ascension process. So be sure to call on Sir Raphael, call on the Seraphim for help during the month of July, not just during July, but they're coming up in July. And it's really appropriate with the unfolding. Of course, that energy of the unfolding relates to the ascension process, rising up to a new level of being. So the Seraphim are really helping us now. They're helping us so much to rise up to that new level of being and to be in that state of oneness. So it's all about returning to oneness, unity consciousness, and we're seeing that on a global level as well, how that's being played out. So working with the Seraphim, being in the light, and even just visualizing that light, that one light that we're all returning to and becoming that one light. Then next we have this beautiful card, and it is, I'll show you the back of it first of all, the beautiful sacred geometry. And this card is Ezekiel, and Ezekiel is ruler of comets and asteroids. So if you can see, there's this beautiful round circle in the middle, which represents a comet or an asteroid. But if you look at it, it looks a little bit like a pearl. And Ezekiel, his comets are made out of pure ice, and it represents the pureness, the state of being that we are ascending to. But also this pearl represents a pearl of wisdom. So we can call on Ezekiel to help us to be in a state of wisdom, to be in a state of knowingness, to allow ourselves to access our truth and to flow with the universe. If you think about comets and asteroids, they flow through the universe and they have a beautiful energy. If you have ever seen a comet in the sky, and it's just this beautiful, this light that's just flowing through the sky. So being in the flow and accessing that wisdom that's available to us, and knowing that we have access to that wisdom, and knowing that that wisdom is in truth within us already. It's just remembering it and remembering who we are. So again, ascending to new levels of being, raising our energy, remembering who we are, remembering the truth of who we are. And then the third card, another beautiful sacred geometry on the back. This card, I don't know if you can see, I'll bring it a little bit closer because there's some very subtle detail in it, and I'll explain it to you now. This card is Rick-Biel, and Rick-Biel is the angel of the power of love. And in the middle, if you can see this golden light in the middle, it represents a chariot. And then there's wings on either side, but within the wings, there's a horse on either side. And the two horses represent wisdom and power. So here we have wisdom coming up again, and we also have power. And the horses are guiding us. They're drawing this chariot or this carriage. And it's like I just have this image of the horses racing with this chariot towards a final destination. And again, it links in with Sir Raphael as we transition towards this light, this oneness. These horses of wisdom and power are bringing us along our path to the source, back to source. And for me, it represents how it's already in motion, it's already moving, the horses are already galloping, and there's no stopping them. There's no stopping this ascension process that we're going through. It's happening. There is no returning back now. There are other timelines in play, and there are timelines which are not congruent with the ascension process. But for the majority of us, ultimately, everyone will have to come into line with the ascension timeline. But that's a whole other podcast, a whole other episode in itself. But what I'm saying is that when we intend to choose the timeline of ascension, then it brings into play that chariot where we're galloping towards that final destination. And in truth, there is no final destination, because there's always new levels of unfolding, there's always new levels of being. But we are ascending to a place that we've never been before, to a way of being that we haven't experienced before. And this is what we've been working towards. This is what all the light workers, the way showers, have been here to help to usher us towards this state of being. So it is happening, it is in motion. Those horses of power and wisdom are galloping towards it, and we are just in for the ride. We don't really have to do anything except just to be love. And when I say just to be love, that makes it sound so simple, but if we intend each day to be love, to be the source of love, to be peace, to be the energy of love, to be the light, if we set our intentions and if we intend that each day, then we open the door, we open the way for us to be the light bearers, the way showers, to be the carriers of the light, and to spread that light to others who we encounter. So a lot coming up in July, but a lot of positive aspects, a lot of lightness, a lot of energy that's coming up to align with. Of course, there's that side, the introspection, the letting go of the shadow, the releasing. And that can be as easy or as difficult as you intend. If you intend for it to be easy, it will be. If you intend to flow through it, you will flow through it. But if you resist it, then that can bring up suffering, and it can bring up that energy of being stuck or being caught in something. And of course, we've all been there. We have all been in that energy of feeling stuck, feeling like we are going around in circles, feeling like there's no solution to our problems. And I, that's why we have to hold the light for others who are experiencing that. But also for ourselves, to be the nurturing, mothering source of love for ourselves, which I mentioned with that Cancer energy, being in that energy of self-compassion, which is so important right now. So whatever you're going through, whatever July brings up for you, being in that energy of self-compassion, intending to walk in the light, intending to be the light of love, intending that the process is easy for you, and you'll be surprised at how you flow through the month, through the energy, and you start to notice a new lightness of being. By the way, I know a lot of you have been asking about healings and booking private healing sessions with me, and I haven't been taking on private clients for a while now, but I am being guided to host a group angel healing circle. And I'm really excited about this because it will be an intimate group of people, and I will guide you through an angel healing, and we'll do this through Zoom, so it'll be live. But I have been feeling into this, and I've noticed recently, when I have been guiding my members group through healings, through activations, through meditations, that the feedback going back is that it's been really powerful. And there's been all sorts of things going on for people. They've been noticing, one person said that her third eye activated really strongly, and even after the session, she could feel it. Other people have said that they've been having really vivid dreams and these amazing experiences in their dreams. Other people have felt really strong presence of the angels. There's been so much going on, and the results have been really powerful. So I've decided to host a group angel healing circle. And as I said, it'll be an intimate group. And what I'm finding is that the reason that there's been these powerful experiences is because of the group energy. When the group comes together, the energy is amplified and the intention behind the healing is amplified as well. And each person in that group then holds the energy for the rest of that group. So I'm actually finding that it's even more powerful in some cases than private healing sessions because the group energy is just so strong and it's been so powerful. So I'm really excited to share this with you, and what I'll do is I'll put a link below to the angel healing where you can sign up. As I said, it'll be a limited number of people, so I don't know how long I'll leave this open. I'll wait until we've reached a certain number, but I'll give you more details in the link below and you can read all about it there. So go to the show notes, find out more about it through the link in the show notes. And if you feel drawn to being in the angel circle, then we would love to have you there. Okay, that's it for this week. I will see you again next week for another episode of the Fiercely Spiritual podcast. Bye bye.